Welcome to the Inside Integration Podcast. My name is Chris. I am joined, as always, by my partner, Jason.
What's up, everybody?
And this is episode 50.
Oh my God, we've
We're here.
almost we've almost talked to each other every day or every week. Well, we talked to each other a lot more than that, but we've almost talked to each other for like a year now. Like that's crazy.
Coming up, man. Two more weeks. It'll be a year. We gotta see. Hopefully, we'll make it. Fingers crossed. Here's
Ooh.
your cliffhanger. We'll
Well, I
see
think
how.
statistically we've done better than a lot of podcasts that start out where they start out with a bunch of fire and brimstone, and then it's we're going to do this every week, or we're going to do this every other week, and then it's every month, and then it's every six
Yeah.
weeks, and then it becomes, yeah, we used to do a podcast. So, hats off to you and to me, I guess, because I keep showing up for this thing to continue on. It's been fun.
Well,
I think it's
it's
catharsis too. I think it's
it's a lot
therapy.
easier if you just ignore the fact that nobody's listening to it or watching it. It's a lot easier to
Yeah, perfect.
as long
Perfect. Yeah, we
as
just
long as you
act
can
like
do
we're the
that.
biggest deal ever, and we're nothing. It's cool.
Yeah, you just treat it as therapy, and it's a thing. So,
That's fair. I
but
like it.
we wanted to talk this week a little bit. We're gonna go over how holidays were and everything else, but we want to spend a little bit of time this week talking about predictions for 2025 and different things that we think are gonna come down the pipe, and just kind of what our general thoughts on this industry that we love are, and we'll see if this podcast survives past Lightapalooza, because I think that'll be the real thing. We're gonna meet our
Where
new
it all
bosses.
began, we circle back
Right.
to the genesis of this whole thing because it seems to me that it was Lightapalooza was kind of the launch pad for this, right? Or was it the road show in San Diego? I'm trying to remember exactly what event sort of coalesced around us launching the podcast. I know we talked about the Lightapalooza on our podcast, but
It was both. I think we started the week before Lightapalooza last year. We started like a week before, and yeah, man, it's been a weekly cadence ever since. And there've been some gems in there for sure, but you know,
there've been a few stinkers, but that's
yeah.
the
Hey,
podcast world, right? Like, yeah,
sometimes
they
sometimes you
can't all be
wake up.
bangers.
Sometimes you wake up and you get in front of the microphone and you're like, man, I just have nothing. It's just a slow news week. There's nothing going on. You're fearing for your job. All these things that so much uncertainty, which
Career uncertainty at this age is pretty terrifying. It's not like you can just, well, I'll just whip down to McDonald's and apply. Got a
right.
little more
Hey,
overhead.
yeah, you know what? It's not a whole lot of places you can go.
I'm sorry, sir. You're overqualified to make Big Macs. And your salary requirements are way out of line. So,
This would
got
be
to do
more
what
of
you got to
a
do.
more of a hobby that you get paid for, really, than anything else. But yeah. So how was your holiday, man?
It was a mixed bag, unfortunately, but it was good. And as with all things holiday related, you could probably write a National Lampoon's Vacation around my particular adventure. So the plan originally was to get up on Christmas morning, do our presents, head out of town to British Columbia, Canada, to go visit some friends and family up there. Find out the night before that my wife's passport unfortunately has expired. So
Ooh.
do a bunch of furious web research, etc., to find out that you cannot cross the border into Canada without a passport. So bunch of soul searching. Okay, well, I'm just going to stay home with the dog. You guys go to Canada, go to this idyllic
Oh,
island off the coast of British Columbia without me in this beautiful cabin by the water that I sent you a little video of.
I'm sure all of these things were said with the utmost sincerity. Everything.
Oh,
No, you guys go have the time of your
it'll be
life.
fine. It'll be just fine.
Bond with the kids. I didn't want to just
Yeah.
relax next to a roaring fire. No, I'll stay home with the dogs.
No, we don't want to stay in a log cabin that was made from the trees that were on the land that you're on, with a stone fireplace that was gathered from the stones that are from the ocean outside in the beach below the house that you're sitting in. Yeah.
So where are you living now?
Well, yes, if you noticed, this is a kitchen, but it's actually my kitchen. So she let us back in the house. But yeah, we fortunately we get to the border, and I tell the Canadian border agent, who is curious as to why there's two teenage girls in my car with American passports, and I've got a Canadian passport. And
Oh,
where's mom? And I say to the kind border agent, well, unfortunately, we found out yesterday that her passport was expired, and she, according to your website, couldn't cross the border. And she's like, well, I'm sorry to ruin your Christmas. So I immediately assumed that none of us are getting into Canada at that point. And she says
step
to
out of the
me,
vehicle, sir.
yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Not that I have anything to hide, but hey, it's not, none of those are fun examinations, right? You're going to find something. I don't know what it is, but you'll find something. So we find out she goes, oh, well, she could have come with you because anybody can cross between US and Canada with a driver's license and a birth certificate if you're an American or Canadian citizen. So thank you so
Ooh,
much for making sure that the website that you guys have on both sides, Canada and the US, says 100% the opposite of that. Like, oh, well, she's referring to, or the website's referring to you transiting via a bus, a
I see.
plane, a ferry. But if you show up in your own car or on your own little 2 feet to walk over the border, guess what? Birth certificate, driver's license gets
Right
you
on.
there.
Right on.
So my wife was super thrilled with that news when we sent her that update, but unfortunately didn't feel comfortable driving the 4 hours, getting on a ferry for another 3 hours with
Sure.
herself and the
Yeah.
dog.
This is seven hours into your journey, right? Oh, bummer.
Yeah. So long story short, kids and I had an amazing time on an island called Pender Island, South Pender Island, off the coast of BC. We hung out with sheep. We hung out with chickens. My kids did a polar plunge in the Pacific Ocean with like ferry ships going by. We stayed in a cabin that was built in 1937, made of trees that were on the property that
Nice.
we were in. Very, very nice, very warm and wonderful. And we had a great time. Got a chance to spend some time in Vancouver, BC. So if you ever get a chance to get up there, I know we've threatened to have a good time up there, but if it ever does, coincidentally fall into place, wow, what a fantastic city. It's kind of like the most beautiful person you've ever met that doesn't have any personality. Like there's a lot going on, but it's just only about that deep, but it's just everywhere. So
Sure.
Asian food, Chinese food, Italian food, every kind of food that you could ever want, need, imagine, or even thought of is there. And yeah, so we got home late last night after running a gauntlet of of food and ferries and being delayed coming back due to storms, and just we had a nature adventure this holiday, so it
Nice.
was it was a good one. How about you, man? What was your Christmas and
It
all that
was
good stuff
it
like?
was low key, man. It was low key. That's all you could kind of hope for. I got two little guys, so there was a lot of toys. Everybody was
You're
happy
in the
with their
wheelhouse of good times, right?
yeah. Everybody was happy with their haul. We had some family over. That was cool. But yeah, man, just pretty low key. Just enjoying it. I mean, we kind of run into a little bit of an issue. It's not really an issue, but my son's birthday is January 2nd, so it's right in that window of like every year Christmas and his birthday he's off from school. There's it's
Nobody around. The party's already over. We're done being
yeah,
around people. That's
it's
bummer.
a little bit of mayhem. But yeah, my kid became a Madden 25 expert just out of nowhere. Figured out how to block field goals. So yeah, he blocked like 6 field goals in a row on me yesterday, and you know it's really strained our relationship.
Does not understand a button hook route though. So I mean, as
Has
long as you can, as long as you can work them with the draw plays and the I formation, you'll
Yep.
be fine.
Yeah, man defense, completely foreign concept to this boy. All it is square button or triangle. Hey, great. Perfect.
Yeah, Dad still got a chance to win the Super Bowl.
Just a slight one. And just for good measure, I busted out the Switch and turned him on to Tecmo Super Bowl and then just whipped his ass in that over and over and like he did something wrong, just beating after beating after
Oh
beating
man,
with Bo Jackson.
I was
Dad,
gonna
who's Bo
say
Jackson? I don't know, buddy. He just seems pretty good. He's
I don't know, but Bo knows.
Bono's Tecmo Super Bowl.
Absolutely. Oh my God.
What's funny though is that like on a re-release, like I guess they lost the licensing to all the player names, so it's all randos. But there's one running back on the Raiders who's just
Standout number 90, just mauling
yeah,
people.
just completely making everybody look like children. And yeah, it was low key. Nice to have a little bit of time off and kind of do some stuff. I mean, we're still running around like we're on fire, changing lines, changing all the stuff, transitioning and all that crap. And it'll really hit hard in a couple of days when we're when we're all back at it.
Yeah, we'll all be behind the eight ball because we just took the last few days off or whatever we did. And even though I was, on an island, like they're little getting blasts of Wi-Fi here and there, it's like phone's just like bling 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 bling. Like, oh no, I'm not supposed to be hearing this right now. I'm supposed to be, deprogramming. Supposed to be detached from all of this. You
Right.
know, how'd
Right.
that work out?
True. So yeah, as alluded to previously, let's take a look at what we're expecting for 2025 here. There's, I don't think we're gonna see a whole ton of changes this year. I think everything's gonna be pretty like I don't really see anything earth shattering coming down the road. But curious on your thoughts a little bit. What kind of trends do you think we're gonna see new products, different alignments, and that kind of thing. Any thoughts? You're an industry insider.
Oh yeah, me and all of my sources telling me the details. Um, for me, I think we're definitely going to see the on the video side of things just because that's my comfort zone. The DVLE, the chip on board world of LED walls is really going to become, I think, kind of the de facto sort of ideal for a lot of these larger format installations. As TV prices and stuff continue to be, the bargain of the century, frankly,
Hmm.
for the level of tech that you're buying, relatively speaking, of course, that large format experience is really the only place where you can have something that's unique, something that's different, and something that's profitable for the integrators to sell and install. It's still a little north of the affordability wheelhouse that most people
That's
would
that gap
feel
is
comfortable
closing.
with.
I
It's
mean,
it's closing fast. I mean, again, if you can buy a 100-inch TV for sub $5,000 US retail, and I mean sub when I mean
yeah,
sub, I was at Costco over the
it's,
holidays,
I was just thinking Costco is yeah,
$1,800
crazy.
for a 100-inch TCL
I mean,
or high sense, sorry, high sense,
it's
but whatever.
disposable to be sure.
Who cares?
Right at that price, like
The
I'll put it next to
65
my hot
inch
tub.
the 65-inch TV that's hanging on my wall above my fireplace right now, retail cost more than that. Was
Yep.
was like $1,900. So, and that's 1, 2, 3 years ago.
Yeah. It's
So,
we're dropping fast. I think that's a good point though. I think I think that chip on board and these cob displays. I think now we're gonna see manufacturers are hitting their stride. We're getting smaller pixel pitches that are more appropriate for smaller rooms, right? Like right now, you're talking about like a 1.1 pixel pitch or a 1.2 pixel pitch or whatever. You've got to be a pretty decent amount. Right now they're competing with the projector range of your
right,
room.
you've got to be more than one picture height away, right, to not see any of the substrate. For, at least with a 1 mil or kind of in that wheelhouse. Even at point .9, you kind of got to be, at least half a
Right.
screen height plus away from the wall
Right.
to not see that. And with a wall that size, you're gonna have to be probably 2 or 3 screen heights away to actually even see the whole thing in your peripheral vision.
Right. And with some of those, yeah, and with some of those wall sizes, like you need to be that far away just to stop yourself from getting cooked. Like just the heat radiating off on some is, whew, thankfully that's gotten a little bit better these days. But yeah, I mean, as that pixel pitch shrinks, and I mean, honestly, that's the race to the bottom, right? Like that's where every
Yeah,
one of your chip manufacturers trying to make things even smaller and smaller, and cobs are no different. Yeah, maybe we start seeing more stuff like I don't know, TV wrapped around your corner where it's,
Yeah,
you
I mean,
know,
I kind of feel like, if it's not this year, I think this is really the runway for where the large format DV, direct view LED, whatever you want to call it, comes into place. Certainly, with the brands that we represent, we've got True Vision, we've got Sony, no slouches when it comes
sure.
to, the DVLE wall. But two totally different worlds in terms of price point, in terms of performance, in terms of kind of their target market, right? So what's, Sony, of course, it's Learjets and caviar and champagne and limousines, and it's the best contrast, and it's so black, and it's so big, and
Right.
it's
It's a
production scale, right?
yeah, it's a DV that you could put in your Malibu home, or you can use as a production set to film The Mandalorian in front of it.
What? Yeah.
Sure.
It's Wednesday. You decide what you want to do in here, right?
Right. You got your kids lightsabers for Christmas. You
Oh
can
yeah,
have them
you
have a
can
battle.
actually fight Darth Vader, like on the screen. It'll be great. But then you flip it around and you've got a product like True Vision, which is, I mean, no less innovative. They
Nope.
own a bunch of patents. They own a bunch of the technology and the IP for the concepts even behind direct view LED. But they've got outdoor solutions. They've got different pixel pitches. They come from the digital signage world,
Yep.
which has a lower barrier of entry in terms of price point, but also maybe a broader envelope of performance options available. Maybe a
See,
client doesn't want, they don't need a zero point 0.9 pixel pitch. I'm gonna watch this thing from across my backyard
exactly.
by my pool. Do you have an outdoor solution? Well, thankfully, yes, we do, and that's kind of where I think a lot of our business, even though we live in a challenged environment up here in the Pacific Northwest, when people are outside, they want to be outside all the time, and I think that's really going to be an opportunity for us to grow that business in our market.
Yeah, and I mean outdoor Cobb LEDs. It's the perfect implementation, right? Because you're not bound by living room walls and couch placement or anything else. Like you could put this thing up, and you can be far enough away. You can be floating in one end of the pool.
Yeah,
Just
dude, you can have the killer setup with the Soniance landscape system in a 8.2 or 16.2, and maybe it's not surround sound, but guess what? I've got all the sound, I've got all the bass that I ever wanted, and it's outside.
yep.
Like sounds like a pretty fantastic party,
It's killer.
honestly.
It's killer, and I think you're right. I think this year brings a lot of improvement with Cobb, and yeah, either this year or next year. But I think we're going to see it in a lot more places, right? Like right now, these displays. There's a bunch of companies who have kind of popped up in the last year who are making these things and different approaches to it, and one is like white glove service all the way through. You don't even have to worry about anything. Just clear the space, and these guys come in and do it. Or, you know, different sizes that you can configure depending on what you actually want to do with it, and that
Or
kind of
just the
thing.
ready-made wall sizes like that. Like when we saw that pitch from True Vision, they're like, no, 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 we've got like an all-in-one that's pre-engineered. You just stick it on the wall. Like what? Like, hang on a second. That's the kind of like
Yeah.
opportunity I think that a lot of our guys and certainly customers out there are like, hey, like if I want to do this, I don't really want to wait for it. Like
Right.
I want to jump on it. Like, do you have something that's just kind of like ready to go? They do, and
But yeah,
that's exciting.
ready to go in a 1 or 2 month construction schedule along with the rest of the
Hey,
project.
no, this
However,
is this is an impulse buy. I want it done this weekend.
you're gonna roll out of Costco with a pallet full of cob panels that you're gonna bring home and assemble yourself. I don't
Of
think we're gonna
course.
see that in the next year, but
No, damn it. Well, I don't want them at Costco either. We want them at our integrators. Oh, cool. The crows are here. That's fun.
the
The
Pacific
crows are
Northwest.
the crows are joining our podcast. So I don't know if you'll see it in the video portion of this, but if you look over my shoulder, the crows that seem to frequent my backyard, thanks to my wife and daughter feeding them,
Yeah.
have joined the show.
Well,
So here
they're
we are.
if you've ever seen anime, those crows are now your sidekicks for life. They're gonna follow you through.
Oh, this is like Death Note or something. The
Yeah,
crow shows up, and then there's some weird skeleton guy that gets somebody. My name's in a book, and I'm in trouble. I don't know.
right. Yeah, and at very very odd certain points of your life, there it just breaks into a cutscene. Like you'll be there like making coffee, and then all of a sudden you're in a cutscene.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the crows. The crows are
with like weird banner like cut out in the middle, right? Like where my face is in color, but everything else is black and white. That'll be cool.
That sounds like a good video. Maybe we can make that video.
Oh,
Maybe that'll be the Lightapalooza.
oh
Maybe we'll
man.
shoot Lightapalooza as an anime, right? Not at
Okay.
all. I don't have the
Death
skill to do that.
Death Note. Here we go.
Oh man. Yep.
Let's see what else is going on for 2025. I was going to say too. I think for us with some of the shifting in our lines and with the company change and all the stuff that we've got going on, for my dollar, the focus on audio and the growth that we've seen in that category over the last year because of our focus on it, doubling down, frankly, on that because it is a category that seems to be pretty healthy, generally speaking, in the AV space, and we've got one of the premier lines in the channel period in our back pocket. Like, why wouldn't we want to be pushing that as hard and fast and loud as we possibly can? Sony and some of our other lines get big attention because it's a household name, but in our business, Sonance is a household name, and I'm ultra proud and super stoked to have them in our repertoire and to be able to push that. And we did see some growth in 2024, and I don't see that trend slowing down anytime soon based on the conversations that I'm having. And I think honestly, the seeds that we planted over the last 12 to 18 months have really started to come out of the ground now, and people are like, oh yeah, we want to do business with these guys. We like who we're talking to. We like the support that we're getting. We love the product.
Yeah.
Those are all winners. So I think for me, one of the maybe not a big change, but one of the shall we say bellwethers of what we're doing. Our audio business is going to continue to grow and continue to be healthy because we've got, I would say, the best partner in the game to work with.
Yeah, I agree with you there, and I think one of the great things about whole house audio is that it's really that's something that's hard to DIY, right? Like your DIY options for whole house audio are Sonos, Apple HomePod. Put different players in different
Put
rooms,
some
and that
Alexas
kind of
in
thing.
some rooms. Cool.
Yeah,
Sure.
Alexa, that kind of thing, and that's that might be great for nobody, but
For
for
people that haven't experienced something
yeah,
better.
exactly. And being able to, having Sonance and basically having a speaker for every application, including James, right? Like you can really do whatever you need. That's something that for integrators is super important, and that's something that when you look at the custom integration landscape and you look at all these things that are creeping in, all these do-it-yourself things that are creeping in, configurable networks that do their own thing and that sort of wireless, blah, 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 whatever. Whole house audio is still something that really can't be pulled out of custom integrators' hands, right? If you're doing new construction, you should wire every room that you could possibly think of for
Wire
audio.
is cheap at that point.
Wire is cheap at that point, right? And there's a massive difference between having an Alexa on your on your sideboard table or on your bedside or whatever versus having enough speakers in the ceiling to give you this like nice full enveloping sound. And that's something that really you're not going to see a do-it-yourself competition for that, right? Like your homeowners are not going to do these things themselves. I mean, some folks are absolutely gifted, can snake wires, can do whatever, but in the space that we play in, that's not really too much of a concern.
Unless you're talking about my in-laws who built their own home on an island in British Columbia and wired that baby for sound in every room, put the speakers in themselves, different level of DIY, right?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, lamp cord, not UL listed.
No,
All
no,
these
no,
things.
no, 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 no. He did it right. But I gotta say, shielded cable and the whole bit. And like, there was no inspector that came here. You could have done whatever you wanted. He's like, oh, I did it the right way. Like,
Yeah,
God
well,
bless you.
because you don't want it to burn down. When that bass hits and the voice coil melts, you don't really want. The fire department is 4 hours away.
That's
So
right.
yeah,
Oh, 4 hours.
and that's it's literally buckets
The
from
the the,
the
the,
river.
fall, the fire department is volunteer.
Hey,
All volunteer. You're not getting paid at all.
that's
You're
how they
risking your
were.
life for nothing.
Where I'm from in Jersey, it was all that was a big change for me coming out here. Is that every fire department is a professional fire department. Back in Jersey, like, and we weren't. I'm not like from the woods, right? Like it was
You're a Pine
all
Baron. I know. It's fine.
right on the border of the Pine Barrens, but it's all volunteer. Like everybody had their little fire pagers and like, hey, the 7-Eleven's burning down and everybody
Wow.
shows up in their lifted trucks and anyway. Um what and that kind of leads into something else and again, I think we're going to see a lot more. I think we're going to see more competition from the DIY side, right? Like we're going to see some things coming out with, more Matter devices and the the uh, the things that work together. You're going to see that happen a little bit more. I think we're going to see more of that kind of stuff. Again, not in the audio world, right? Like that seems pretty safe from that. But I think we're going to start seeing a little bit of that creeping in some of these devices, right? Like everything is going to be wireless. You're gonna, you're not really gonna need to wire all this stuff, at least on the lower end. If
Oh,
you're
with Wi-Fi
okay,
6 and 7, you mean? Like,
yeah. I mean, if you're okay with the, with that level of performance, I think that's going to be okay. But I think obviously, the higher end of the people who want to do it right, wired isn't going anywhere. Wired everything isn't going anywhere. But the fact that the Matter stuff is going to start creeping into it, and you're going to be, using your Apple Home app to be able to control, you'll be able to control your TV, or you'll be able to do your audio or your garage door or whatever. For custom integrators, I think that part of it is going to creep in a little bit more, and it's going to become a little bit easier for clients to kind of do this themselves. So that's an angle that you should be thinking about as you're talking to clients. You're probably getting it already, right? Like your clients are probably already telling you like, hey, you know what? I can do this from my phone. I could do that from my phone. I can use 8 different apps and torture myself that way and that sort of thing. But I think more connectivity based on Matter and Thread are going to be something that custom integrators need to at least think about and be prepared to answer to, right? Like, because even, I mean, I had high-end clients who were building giant houses, and they would still bring up, at that design meeting, like, well, why can't I just do all this with Alexa? It's like, well, I guess you could, but your house is poured concrete and there's no Wi-Fi anywhere and blah, blah, blah. But as long as you're prepared for that, like the last thing that you want in that kind of meeting is like being flabbergasted by like, whoa, you're really going to try that? No, like that's not the approach you want to take. Well, that's going to give you one experience. That's going to give you the 84 Volkswagen Golf. We're trying to give you more the Maserati experience. And
there's a lot of service for the Maserati, so maybe more the Lexus experience. I don't know.
I mean, hey, more service for the Maserati. That's sell them a service plan and call it a day. But
Okay, all right, fair enough, fair enough. I know you're Italian. You got to cheer for the home team. It's fine.
this is only because now I've started playing Gran Turismo again, and
Oh, so you're into it now.
I don't have to
with it.
maintain the Maserati.
No, you're right. Virtual oil changes are only 50 credits.
I buy
so it's
tires,
fine.
right?
Yeah.
And I think one thing that comes along with that again is this is going to be another vector of attack of our industry, right? Is that do-it-yourself market is going to get in there, and I think what kind of goes hand in hand with that is we're going to start seeing more AI stuff. And yeah, AI is a buzzword, but we're going to start seeing things like automations in your Apple Home app that can automatically start doing these things. And
How about automations in your Outlook that can automatically send emails out? I was looking at the latest version of Outlook with the AI enabled, and holy cow! Woo! I'm I'm terrified.
Well, if you really want to be terrified, by AI, and not necessarily AI in your home control platform, just fire up LinkedIn, right? Open up LinkedIn and scroll down and look at how many posts
Or have the AI label on them?
not even AI. They don't even have the label, right? We're just talking like just look at posts and look how similar each one of them is. And I'll give you the breakdown for it because I kind of live in this world. You're gonna have there'll be an emoji, whatever that is. Maybe it's confetti, maybe it's a bell, maybe it's a police light or whatever, and then there'll be a statement, and then underneath that, indented with emojis as bullet points, you'll see like 4 things, and then just, hey, that is the formula, right? And it is amazing to me how many professionals are doing that. And I'm probably shooting my foot if I ever end up doing that myself. If you ever see that on any of our social feeds or anything else, but it's wild to me. It's like once you see the matrix, you can't unsee it. And as you scroll through, it's like, wow, that these are all exactly the same format. And yeah, the content is there, and the content is probably decent, but once you see that, or once you see a post with the word delve in it more than once, like
Right.
that's that's how you know, and you will just not be able to unsee that. So AI coming on strong.
Yeah, it looks fake to me, and like it's I don't know, not fake isn't word contrived, right? Like because it's still working on being intelligent. It's artificial, right? Like it's
Yep.
just there are some of those things where they jump out at you, like you're talking about the formatting or the keywords, and to your point, we've talked about this before, but my kids' teachers have this AI scrubber, so any plagiarism, any of the keywords that you're talking about, sentence structure, there are some things that you can use AI to figure out.
Sure.
Hey, is this AI? So my daughter actually was like, "Well, I took some stuff from AI in my research, but I just copied and pasted like the factoids." And I was like, "Well, that's fine,
Hmm.
but there's words and phrasing in there that teacher can
Yeah.
tell that you sourced that from somewhere you didn't actually write those words, so
It's blurring the line very quickly, because and you can defeat that by telling AI to not make itself sound like AI. And now you're in this perpetual feedback loop where it's,
right. So if you're watching the video portion of our podcast now, the squirrel has made an appearance. So hello, Mr. Squirrel. He's looking for a nut probably, but there we go.
still waiting for the bear. Still
so
waiting for
so
the bear to just show up and like be right in that window behind you, like, hey, what's up?
man,
Are you
steve
podcasting?
Steve's probably still sleeping, you know what I mean? Steve's our neighbor, the bear. It's
There
fine.
you go.
He's fine.
Oh, what else? What else you got for 2025 predictions?
Honestly, I think we're going to continue to see. I think we're going to see some attrition. Frankly, I don't know about mergers and acquisitions, but I have a strong feeling that we are going to see some of the patients that are on life support at this point. I'm not going to name any names
Sure.
because, frankly, there are a few, and I don't know anybody's specific financial arrangements or position in the world. But I have a sneaky suspicion that we are going to see maybe one, maybe two, either major mergers, or we're going to see some names sort of go to hell, for lack
Well,
of a better description, because they're shutting up shop, because they've lost their talent pool, because their product line is not relevant
mm-hmm.
anymore, and not because they're bad people or anything, but time marches on. We've literally just been talking for the last 20 minutes about technological advancements and how AI is going to change things and put people on the trailer. Well, yeah, that's happened. So again, in my mind, I think the hold my beer, here's another shocking announcement of 2024 trend is going to continue. And my personal thought is that we will see either maybe another major merger or two, or
Mm-hmm.
somebody get absolutely just taken off the map and put in the remember when category.
At the end of the year, at our next year when we do our Emmys thing, they'll be part of the in memoriam tribute. Maybe we'll make that. Maybe we'll do that. Make that a thing. But I agree with you. I think we're going to see business wise. I think we're going to be. I think housing starts are going to go up. I think we're going to see more construction going on. I mean, there's one thing that we need in this country is more housing, and I think that's we're going to catch up. We've identified that need, and now we're going to kind of catch up and really start chugging. Post COVID, that's going to help a lot of dealers depending on your market that you're in. People are going to want the things that we're offering them, and that's all well and good. But at the same time, yeah, I think you're right. I think we're going to keep seeing, I think we're going to keep seeing some of these guys like Daisy, buying up some of the bigger places where, time marches on, right? Like a lot of principals have been doing this now for 20 or 30 years and they just want
Oh,
to go off
good
into
point.
retirement. And, I think we're going
We're
to,
going to see some dealers fall off the map too. I guess I should have thrown that out there,
yeah.
but I
And
agree with you.
maybe not even fall off the map. Maybe get acquired by some of these,
Roll up into something else.
yeah, roll up into something else. And, maybe we start seeing more national presences and that kind of thing. And, I think we're going to see that. I mean, we're living proof on the rep side, right? Like you're going to keep seeing more consolidation. I think we're going to see, maybe another player in the distribution world, right? Like maybe somebody will come out to be, a smaller version of Snap because now Snap is a little bit too big. But
Boy, those guys have got to be scratching their head, going, "What the heck happened?"
yeah, right.
Like,
Like, huh? Okay.
it's not you, it's me. Like, whoa,
Hey,
okay, like,
yeah.
okay.
I think we're gonna keep seeing buying groups getting bigger. I think at this point, if you're a custom integrator and you're not aligned with someone, either
You're leaving
one of
money
the
on the table.
yeah one of the national buying groups, I think that's gonna really come on strong, and we're gonna see that more and more. Where again, bigger shops are buying smaller shops. Maybe you're buying the competition. Maybe you're buying the competition 30 miles away to expand into a second territory because things are going well here, and you can use some of that magic over there. I think we see more of that this year, where folks are just, hey man, you've been doing something for 30 years, like you're ready to you're ready to pass on this book of business and call it a day. And I think that's good. I think that's healthy. You busted your ass for this long. You deserve to relax. You deserve to hand this thing that you've built off to somebody else and kind of keep on going. Um,
Pass
and
it on to your children for them to run it into the ground. I'm just
exactly.
kidding.
Right.
Oh,
Exactly.
I don't know why I said that. That was terrible. But
No, no.
I'm not, again, no, I think honestly we can point to a bunch of examples where that's absolutely not the case, where maybe the person in charge was thinking about things in a certain vein, and then whether they moved on or something's happened or whatever it is, the succession plan has taken the business to a completely different level.
Sure.
And maybe it was just mindset or just the scope of the person that was in charge. But circling back to fresher sets of eyes, you know, maybe people that haven't accomplished all of those benchmarks in their life, they're looking to make a mark. So I think maybe the counterpoint to what we're saying with some of the fall off or some of the adjustment in the industry is we're going to see some age shift out, right? We're just the guys, they said, I've been doing this for 30 years. Well, if you started when you were 20, that means you're 50. So your runway for where the end of the road isn't as long anymore. Maybe you are ready to pack it up and move on. So I agree with you. I think on top of all of the shifting sands that we've got out there, the dealer base in our industry is definitely going to be one of the more dynamic parts of our business, as it always has been. But with buying groups and with consolidation and national roll-ups, maybe you're sitting there going, "Well, crap, dude! Like this guy over here got bought by these dudes, and this other guy over there is working with those guys. What am I doing?"
Yep.
So maybe it's time to dig your heels in and really try to level up over the competition and be the local hero, or look at what your options are for, hey, can I sell you this thing and continue to work here? So, like whatever the arrangement happens to be.
Yeah, and it's overall it's a good thing. Everybody should
I
be able
agree.
to do what they want and be
Yep.
successful. And you've built this amazing thing, and it's run for this long.
This is
Go enjoy it.
America. Yeah,
It's
this is America, right?
America,
Like
right?
America. What there it does still have through all of the noise and the clouds or whatever you want to call it, the dust up, if you will. At the end of the day, when you leave America and you go to other countries and you hear about what people are dealing with, and they go, "How can you stand being in America?" And I go, I don't know how you guys can stand constantly having a government agency be the first thing that you think of when you need help
I
or when something's going on. Oh, there's got to be a department for that. No, thank you.
and
You know
and
what I
to
mean?
a more extreme degree. I mean, my power hasn't gone out, and I don't know how long. I can't really say that for some of our friends. Like Puerto Rico doesn't have power for like the next 48 hours. Like the entirety of Puerto Rico. Like that's
It's insane,
blows my
right?
mind.
It's mind-boggling.
It could always
So
be worse. That's a good message for
it's
New Year's.
I was gonna say, what are your resolutions? Like, not like, I don't know. That's a total swerve, and it's an absolute cliche trope. But did you have any resolutions, or did you have like one thing that you were like, hey, like for 2025, I'm gonna
I mean, I would say that I'm going to be more positive, but we both know that that is
That's a
not going to.
bullshit story.
That's been my resolution now, like for probably 12 of the last 15
Stay in your
years.
lane, dude. I'm the positive one. All
Yeah,
right, come on.
not something, not something I'm going to do. No, it's I think my resolution is I'm gonna hustle my ass and really try and you know make a mark and try and really do something that helps this industry and you know gets me a little feeling a little bit better about things.
Yeah, yeah. I think I concur with that. I think for me, my resolution this year is definitely going to be to not sit still. All right, just not that I was sitting still in 2024 because I put 40,000 miles on my car. I flew a ton. Like, I did a lot of work. I was a lot of places, saw a lot of people, did a lot of that stuff. But I think on the professional side, for sure, I'm not going to stop moving. But I think more so on the personal side, recognizing that all of this stuff does take a toll. And I noticed with the brief few days that I had with my children and on my own, where it was unfettered, it was just us connected. That's a part of my life that definitely needs a little bit more focus on a regular basis. So consistently making an effort to get out, and we're going to Leavenworth. We're going to whatever. We're going for a walk in the woods, whatever that is, even if it's an hour or if it's 2 days, I don't care. That is really going to be my MO for 2025, is to give as many flowers out as I can, but also stop and smell them once in a while.
There you go.
Really, really try to savor that and enjoy the time that I've got here.
Make time for the things that are important to you.
Bingo, lollipop.
Thanks. All right, I think that's enough warm and fuzzies for for one
Yeah, well, I
episode.
cursed, so just to level it down, just to bring the bar down and then bring it
Yeah,
back up again. So
absolutely. So again, I'm Chris. That's Jayson.
I'm Jayson. Thank you guys so much for listening. Hopefully you all have a fantastic 2025 going forward. Please hit us up on the socials. Hit us up on YouTube. Hit us up on at inside underscore integration on the Instagram. I do my best to put up pictures that Chris puts on our bumpers every week with a little show description. So come and check us out. Come hang out with us. Send us a note. Let us know that you're listening.
Send the crow to Jason's porch. That's a good
Send a
way to get in
crow
touch
or a
with us.
squirrel, or you know what? We even have a raccoon. I have a photographic
Ooh,
evidence of a raccoon, but then I was like, you know what? Kobe the dog should not be in the backyard if we have a raccoon out there.
there you
So,
go. Good
you
good
know,
call. All right, folks. Thanks for joining us.
Happy New Year's, everybody, and take care.